Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I am your host, Wilk of WilksWorld.com, and I am so incredibly grateful that you are taking the time to join me for another powerful DTH episode. Friends, at the D-Rate the Hate podcast, it's all about bettering the world one attitude at a time. See, we did not create the hate, but with your help, we can derate the hate. That all starts with gratitude and personal accountability. We cannot control everything that happens to us in life, but we can control how we react to it. How we act, how we react, no matter what happens to us, how we react to it makes the difference. Friends, there is only one good thing about a bad attitude, and that is that we have the ability as individuals to change it. Here on the DTH podcast, we strive to bring you great guests and provide tools to do just that. Please be sure to share it with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Ratings and feedback are always greatly appreciated. And with that, let's get to this week's episode. Friends, everyone has a story to tell. Our stories are made up of all kinds of different experiences. And sometimes people take those experiences and turn them into something great. Some way to take what they've experienced and figure out a way to make that their purpose in helping others so that others may not have to make the same mistakes that they made. I try to do that every day with this D-Rate the Hate podcast. And my guest this week, who has had some incredible experiences of his own, does that for thousands upon thousands of followers every day with bits of inspiration on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, you can find Chancellor Jackson. My new friend Chance Jackson was born in Fulton County, Georgia to Native American parents, grew up in Smyrna, Georgia, and attended Stetson University. For 9 years, he played football at the high school and collegiate level. After graduating with a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies, Chancellor lived abroad in China in the years 2018 and 2019. Chance fell into writing after his traumatic experience of being arrested and detained in Beijing for 14 days. His book, 14 Days in Beijing, has ranked number 1 over 15 times on Amazon in multiple different genres. Chancellor has also released a romance saga about a man's first step towards gaining emotional intelligence titled You Love and You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies. I'm proud to call Chance Jackson my new friend, and you are not going to want to miss this incredible conversation where Chancellor and I talk about purpose, what happened to him in Beijing, and what he's doing today to coach, inspire, and influence in his own incredible way. Stay tuned for this great episode, my friends. You're not going to want to miss it. Here we go. Chancellor Jackson, thank you for joining me on the D-Rate the Hate podcast, man. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you for having me, Will. Blessings and balance to you. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. Big shout out to y'all. Y'all the real MVPs for sure.
Very cool, my friend. That is awesome. So, obviously, Chance, you're an accomplished author. You've got some incredible material out there online. You're an online influencer doing incredible work for the people, which is why I wanted to talk to you today. One of the things that, and we'll get into your book. Obviously, you've got the book 14 Days in Beijing. You've got some other, very good works out there with regard to writing, and then your Instagram reels and the things that you do on YouTube. So inspiring. So Chance, talk to the DTH listeners about how you got started on this online journey. Like I said, you're an accomplished author. You've got the book 14 Days in Beijing, which I do want to talk a little bit about. But talk to me about how you got on this journey of helping others, because I've watched these reels. I've watched your short clips online, and you've got so many inspirational things. So talk to me about, how did that start for you? Where did that mindset start, and how did you start rolling with that?
I've always been a natural born leader. You know what I'm saying? Always led by example. And I've been doing this since like 4th grade, I want to say. That's when I feel like the shift really, you know what I'm saying, took place. Fourth grade, I was bad as hell. For real. But after 4th grade, like once 4th grade came, And it was just a shifting mindset. It was like, okay, let me just apply myself and like do what I'm supposed to do in the classroom and behave. And, you know what I'm saying? Let's see how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Let's try something else. And it was up after that. You know what I'm saying? I was making better grades, honor roll all that year. So then carried over to fifth grade class president. And so it's like from that point on, it was just like, okay, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I like playing this role. So, and you get a lot more privileges as a student, you know what I'm saying? When
Right.
you got a good face card. So it's like, all right, for sure. I'm going to continue to play this role. Then you go to middle school. Now, middle school, that's when things start to broaden as far as what you're going to be exposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to go, it's a lot more kids at this, you know what I'm saying, in middle school, and everybody's background is different. So you got kids that's growing up, that's living pretty fast at, you know what I'm saying, 11, 12, 13 years old. So you're going to be around a lot, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be exposed to a lot. But still, I was always tunnel vision, you know what I'm saying? I never allowed what was going on the outside to affect me and who I am on the inside. So I can be in any situation and go around any group of people, but when it's all said and done, I'm going to stay in my own lane. You know what I'm saying? I can coexist with everybody else, but for sure, I got backbone. I got, you know what I'm saying, morals.
And that's so cool because, I mean, you know, typically at fourth grade, you're what, maybe 11 or not even 11 years old, right? How old? 8, 9 years old. And to have that revelation as a youngster and just being able to start to compartmentalize and realize that these outside forces are things that we can't control and I can't control, but I'm going to focus on me and having that kind of maturity at 4th grade and 9, 10 years old. That's incredible, Chance, because you know, there are a lot of adults out there right now that don't even have that kind of sense about them, right? They don't have that level of emotional intelligence, that kind of personal strength to start to focus on the fact that, like you said, I've got a better face card if I'm a better person. I get more privileges as a youngster if I'm not pulling, BS on people that are supposed to be guiding me.
You know what I'm saying?
And having that kind of mentality, having that kind of awakening at 4th grade, bravo, man, because that is absolutely incredible. So let's kind of take that further. I mean, obviously, in 4th grade, you're elementary school, you start to progress up into junior high and then high school. I know you played some football and then went off to college and played some football and then became an author. So talk to me about this progression, Chance, on how you're obviously you've got your emotional intelligence far more intact than most kids. You're following a path. You've got purpose. You've got the right mindset. Talk to me about how that purpose developed, because I'll tell you from my personal experience, I didn't even figure out what my purpose is until probably in my 30s. So with you're cranking on it, going into high school and then college, and you've got focus. Talk to me about that focus. Talk to me about that purpose, Chance.
Man, it's just, football definitely played a huge role, and just that whole developmental piece. You know what I'm saying? I didn't start playing football till 8th grade. So, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Exactly. I'm from Georgia. Most people were playing football since they was, you know what I'm saying?
They come out of the womb playing football down there, don't they?
You know what I'm saying? So I was very late to it. I'm just because, you know what I'm saying, my mama wasn't trying to pay for that, you know what I'm saying, growing up. And it was me and my brother. So once we got 8th grade, I was 8th grade, he was in 7th grade. That's when we was able to finally play. So it took me personally like a minute to, you know what I'm saying, catch up to the speed of the game. I had no knowledge of football, organized football like that. All I knew was catch and run. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it took me about a year to, you know what I'm saying, catch up with the speed of the game and then the depths of the game, especially my position. But after that, you know what I'm saying, I caught up and I had to work my way up through the ranks. But I knew in my freshman year of high school, I was like, I want to play Division I football. That's what I want to do. I don't give a damn about anything else. This is what I want to do. Right. And I was just determined to do that. But as I was going through the journey, Now I'm approaching my junior year. They still got me on JV. So I'm like, okay, this is a test from, you know what I'm saying, the universe to see how bad I really want what I say I want. I can't quit because if I do that, I'll never be shit. You know what I'm saying? Football thing won't happen then. I
Right.
can't get up and just transfer school. So I'm like, I gotta stug this thing out. I gotta, you know what I'm saying, just put my head into the ground and just grind. That's what my coach told me to do. He said, just shut the hell up and just work.
Just
Try
grind.
that. So I'm like, all right, bet. He challenged me. So I'm like, all right, bet. We're gonna try that. So that's all I did. I came to work every day. And game seasons progressing, and every JV game I played in, I averaged about 2-3 picks a game. So I'm going crazy. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's towards the end of the season, they put me out of there on varsity. I picked off the #1 quarterback in the nation. And from that point
Became
on,
a ball hawk at that point, right?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now, okay, I'm snapped now. I'm finished the rest of that season out on varsity, going to my senior year. They moved. I was playing strong safety, like outside linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Because we ran a 30-stack defense. So now they moved me to corner my senior year. I went from free safety to strong safety, and now I'm out there on the island. So it's still all in the back end, but man, being out there on the island, that's still a different type of position for sure. If you ain't really got no knowledge of it. So everything, I was self-taught. You know what I'm saying? Really, my coaches really ain't play corner, no. You know what I'm saying? They have really in-depth knowledge of, you know what I'm saying, how to be elite at this position. So you know what I'm saying, I had to teach myself, and with that, you know what I'm saying, I was only able to acquire so much knowledge and so much game, but I had a decent senior year, and it's the end of it, and I'm like, damn, bro, I ain't got no interest, no scouts, you know what I'm saying, nothing going on, but I want to play college football. And I don't even care about playing D1, I just want to play college football. And I'm like, that's something I want to do. And it wasn't like our coaches was, you know what I'm saying, promoting us, you know what I'm saying, pushing our highlight tapes and nothing like that. So I had to take it upon myself. So I was emailing coaches. Goddamn, I had a list of schools from D1 AA to D2, D3, and AIA. My grades is good enough. I ain't have to take the JUCO route, so that I ain't even have to worry about that. So every single day, I'm emailing schools. I go to that football, whoever's next on the list, I go to that school's football page, go to the staff directory. Everybody that's geared towards football got an email from me. I'm the coaches on Twitter, Facebook, you name it. I'm putting myself out there. I'm at this for months. I applied to Stetson University just because I went to their football camp over the summer going into my senior year. So I applied to the school, get accepted, get a bunch of academic scholarships. I get on the phone with them immediately like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I just got applied to school. You know what I'm saying? I got in. These folks give me scholarship money. I'm going to be down there on the visit. What's up? You know what I'm saying? We can link up, talk, chop it up, woo. So I go down there for the academic visit, but I meet up with the coaches, especially the DB coach I was working with over the summer. We tap it up. Everything sounds good, and I come back home. I did this for my spring break. Everybody else went to Panama.
Everybody else is off playing. You're working.
I said, well, I don't know where I'm going next year until I figure this out. It's to hell with everything else. I ain't go to prom my senior year. I ain't do nothing for real. And one day my partner texted me. He sent me a screenshot. He's like, hey, bro, you on Stetson's roster? I said, huh? I go to the website. Lo and behold, there I was. I said, oh, shit.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? But say I got my foot in the door. It's D1 AA at the level I want to do that. But the grind is just getting started. I'm pretty much a walk-on.
Now you just got to prove yourself. And that's a great thing, Chances, because I think two people discount that one statement. We have to make our own destiny. Yeah. Sometimes it takes us stepping up. Not everybody's just lucky, right? Sometimes you have to get out there, put in the work, make your own destiny.
Facts.
And that's awesome. That's an awesome story. And that's an inspiration in and of itself. So I want to take that into the idea that not everybody is going to recognize the value that we truly hold, right? Sometimes you have to step out there and show them how much you shine, because they might not see it right off the bat. But when you shine yourself, you knew how good you were. You knew what kind of talent you had. You had the ambition. You had the drive. You know you. And just like the conversation I had recently on my podcast with Reggie Wilson, that, we talked about the Human Value Initiative, right? He has this website called the Equal Universe, and he does nothing but focus on human value. how people value you is often a direct reflection of how you value yourself.
Thanks.
When people saw all the work that you were putting in, Chance, and saying, this guy's got something, this guy's got drive, he's got motivation, he's got a plan, he knows what he wants to do. And most of all, this guy really believes in himself. There's something here we need to look at.
Thanks. Thanks.
Right?
Man, how bad do you want it? That's what it is.
How bad do you want it? We've got to make our own destiny. No, that's awesome, because like I said, I think about so often people get in their mind. I talk a lot about this reticular activating system and how if people constantly see themselves, as not worthy, they will manifest that kind of thing in their life, right? If they think of themselves as not worthy, they think of themselves as some type of a victim all the time. If they have this feeling like everybody hates me, nobody likes me, I'm not gonna. Well, guess what? You know it as well as I do. That's gonna manifest itself in everything that you see. If you didn't have that confidence, a lot of people would finish up high school and say, I don't have any offers. Maybe nobody likes me. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. But you didn't think that. You didn't have that path. That's not what you were thinking. You're like, I just got to show everybody how good I am. I got to get out there. I got to put out my own game films. I got to write the letters. I got to get myself in front of everybody because everybody else will see me for what I see. And that's awesome.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So, and the cool thing about this is I'm not getting this because of anything other than the stuff that I see you putting out there on your, obviously I've had tons of these conversations with other people. Like I said, my friend Reggie Wilson talking about the Human Value Initiative, and so many of the people that I talk to, they get it. They get the fact that there's two ways of thinking in this world, right?
Thanks.
You can either be a victim or you can be a victor.
Thanks.
If you think you're a victim, most times you're going to stay a victim. If you think you're a victor, you're going to strive to continue being victorious.
Thanks.
And that's a beautiful thing. I love that. And I love the stuff. Like I said, I love these things that you're putting out there on Instagram, Chance, because you are inspiring. I know just by the sheer number of people that are following you on Instagram and YouTube and things like that, you are making a difference in the world, which is why I love having people like you on the podcast, is because there's way too much toxicity out there. There's way too much negativity out there.
Thanks.
Toxicity makes it halfway around the world before positivity gets its first like and share. You are grinding. You are grinding out there every day, putting out stuff, whether it be your books or your videos or your shorts and reels and things like that, and just showing people what kind of things can happen with the right mindset, with that positivity. So let's transition that into post-collegiate. You've got your degree now. You start writing some books. You go spend some time in China. Amongst all things. You spent some time in China, and then things got a little sideways there. So talk to me about what happened in China, because now I got to hear this. This is I'm been waiting to hear for a while.
Yeah. So after I graduated from Stetson with a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies, I ironically landed my first job teaching English to children. So that's how I ended up out there. And I was teaching kids as young as 3 years old all the way up to 14, but mainly working with the elementary school age range. I entered China on October 10th, 2018, and I was supposed to do a year. Only ended up doing 6 months. Took me about a month and a half to get adjusted. But once I got adjusted, China was by far the best experience I've ever had in my life. I encourage everybody to travel. If you can live abroad someplace, especially a place you've always been fond of, and it ain't got to be that long. It ain't got to be that long. I highly recommend it. See how much you learn about yourself and life in general. But yeah, China was absolutely lit. I'm enjoying Beijing, enjoying working with the kids, enjoying exploring the food, the people, the culture, the other foreigners. Lit. And then on April 4th, 2019, month 6, everything took a turn. and I was arrested inside of my apartment. Then, you know what I'm saying, went to 2 different precincts. And then after the second precinct, I arrived at the actual facility where I was, you know what I'm saying, housed. And I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 minutes, 1 cell, 9 wooden beds, 3 soups a day. And all I had was 1 plastic bowl and 1 plastic spoon. Nothing was explained to me as far as how the process works. Of course, like I said, I just then went to precinct to precinct, now I'm in the jail. So no judge, no lawyer, none of that. I have no clue what's going to happen.
You didn't even know why you were in jail?
I know. I know. Well, I really don't know the technicalities of the specifics. I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? I have no clue what are my specific charges, but I know why. I know why I'm in jail, though. For sure. I know why I'm in here. But as far as all the minor details, I have no clue. And nobody knows I'm in here. And like I said, we locked up 24 hours a day. I'm in this cell with 14 other Chinese men, none of which I can speak to. Until one day they just finally call your name to come on.
They just let you out. So you're in there. You're in there for 14 days. You can't speak to anybody that's in there. They aren't explaining anything to you. They aren't telling you the rules. It's not like you get a phone call. That's one of the beauties of the United States is that at least they're going to explain to you what's going on. You're going to have an idea. You're not just at this point. You're in a foreign country. You've got no means to contact anybody else. You're in there, and what's going on? I can't even imagine that. Thankfully I've never been in that situation, but I mean, you had to have been terrified, right? Because at that point,
I was even killed. For real.
What's that?
I was even killed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not too high, not too low, just in the moment. For real.
But I gotta imagine you didn't know whether you're gonna be in there for 4 days, 14 days, or 14 years, right?
I had no clue how long I was gonna be in this predicament, but I remember telling myself when I got to the first precinct, I'm gonna be good when it's all said and done. I don't know how this thing, I don't know how, when, where, but when it's all said and done, I know I'm still gonna be me. I'm gonna be all right. Now, we don't know what's gonna take place, but whatever's gonna come, I gotta take to the chin for sure. So take note of every minor detail because it's gonna be a great story to tell once you're out of this predicament.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I think about this, and I'm sure in the book 14 Days in Beijing, I'm assuming you get into detail about those details, right? You're talking about what led up to this, how you ended up in jail in the first place, and stuff like that. But I think most people in that situation would be, like I said, when I think about it, I think about the idea just being terrifying because I don't know if it's going to be 4 hours, 14 hours, 14 days, 14 years, whatever, so in my mind, I'm probably thinking, what's the end game here? What's the final scene on this ugly little movie that I'm in right now? and so I think this is a testament to the mindset thing that you're talking about. And it reminds me, certainly not comparing the situations at all, but it reminds me of the mindset and purpose like Viktor Frankl talks about in A Man's Search for Meaning, right? When he talks about his captors, ultimately he's got the power to control his own mind. So no matter, how long he's in there, or what kind of torture they subject him to, and this, and, there's so many things about that. And it comes right down to the mindset thing in that, just like you said, Chance, I don't know how this is going to end, but one way or another, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to come out of this hole and I'm going to have my mind about me. I'm going to stay on an even keel. So just specifically talk about how you kept your mind about you in there and what kind of things you were thinking about in that situation, not knowing. I mean, just the whole unknown. I think most people freak out because of the unknown.
Yeah, just accountability first and foremost. So definitely had to take that, and with that, it was just acceptance. And now All right. And it's a lot of reflection now. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time you got to reflect and how long did you reflect? I doubt anybody has had more than 72 hours. I'm talking about solely to sit on your ass and you ain't doing shit but sitting there.
Right.
And that's when it's time to go to sleep or eat. That's it. You sitting there. Stand. I can't talk to nobody. I'm just sitting stand at the wall, essentially. Sit there and reflect. Come on. That's a lot of time to reflect. So it's like I just had a time to just think and, you know what I'm saying, try to figure out what it is that I want to do or what's going to be my next steps. Once I get out of here, what I feel I need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to come up with a blueprint or a game plan for once I'm out of this predicament. And just, you know what I'm saying, worrying, you know what I'm saying, just contemplating, thinking about everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody on the outside, like, all my friends that I made out here, I ain't gonna see them again, and, you know what I'm saying, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, I get to see my family back home in the States soon, and, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, so it's just a lot of reflection, and praying to the ancestors, for sure, definitely a lot of praying to them, you know what I'm saying, continue to keep me motivated and encouraged, and, you know what I'm saying, let them know that I trust the process, and grateful for, you know what I'm saying, not being physically harmed, and, you know what I'm saying, mind still being intact. So yeah, that's what was that definitely was major factors. And then on the fourth day, so the first 3 days, I'm the only foreigner, the only English speaking cell. On day 4, chapter 4, and they moved me to a new cell. And in that new cell, I'm amongst 3 other foreigners. One is a Russian dude from Russia. The only thing he only speaks Russian and Mandarin, so I can't talk to him. But you got a Chinese American from California. He's fluent in Mandarin and English. And then the third foreigner was a Brazilian from Brazil. Of course, Portuguese, English, and Mandarin. So I could talk to the Brazilian and the Chinese American like no other. But since they both fluent in Mandarin, I can communicate with everybody in the cell, from the Chinese inmates to Russian dudes. So it was like, okay, now this was a shift within the story. But now I'm like, okay, I ain't the only one. No, you know what I'm saying? I got somebody to talk to that phrase misery loves company. That's when this comes into play. So, okay.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? We still down bad. We still in here, but hey, at least we got each other. You know what I'm saying? So definitely having them boys enter the journey helped as well. Keep me, you know what I'm saying, motivated and encouraged. And now I can also start connecting dots as far as how this process works. These folks, everything has been explained to these people as far as how long they're gonna be there, what their specific charges are, how the rules of the jail. They know everything. Me, they ain't explained nothing to me. So I'm sitting there learning through them, and they just blown away. Like, damn, they ain't tell you this, they ain't give you this, they ain't show you. I'm like, yeah, no.
They might have, but I didn't understand.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, no. So they was like, damn. So just being able to connect dots, and now it's just still a waiting game. I still have no clue how long I'm gonna be here.
Yeah. So you're in there for 14 days, and you get out. What's the first thing that you thought about, Chance, when they let you out? When you got to see the light of day again? The first thing you thought about? What was your next step?
Shit, I need to get my money out the bank. For real. I'm like, I need to get my money out the bank. I was asking, can we go straight to the bank, bro? I need to get that bread, because they took me straight to my apartment to pack up the rest of my stuff and then straight to the airport where I was deported from the country. So I'm like, well, bro, I need my money. I need to get my bread. But it's like, we got ATMs at the airport. We use the ATMs there. But we get to the airport, we waiting on the immigration. It was just so much drama in the last chapter. So it's like I barely had time to even get any bread out of the ATM for real. So I'm like, damn, bro, my money's still in China, bro. I lost everything, bro. I'm like, I'm down bad, bro. Like, man, I'm down bad. But everything ended up working out. Ended up getting my money back. It took about a couple of weeks, but I ended up getting my bread back. Then I was just back in America, just, okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And trying to apply everything that I was reflecting on while I was locked up. Now that I'm on the other side of the wall. So continued in education, fell into coaching football. That just happened. But it was nice. Really perfect. And then I started writing 14 Days in Beijing that summer. And it took me about 4 months to write it, 6 months to get it, you know what I'm saying, ready for publishing. And on April 4th, 2020. So the anniversary date, and it all popped off. I released the very first version of 14 Days in Beijing. I was ranked the #1 new bestseller in 3 different genres.
Very
So
cool, man.
that is just a snowball effect. You know what I mean?
Right. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I think it's a story that a lot of people need to read. Like you said, it's so important that people do, venture out abroad and stuff like that. But that idea of getting locked up abroad and not being, it's a big difference between being locked up in the United States and being locked up in a different country, because the rules are so much different, right? Yeah. We can think about different places in the world and seeing different things, and there's a lot of beauty on this planet. There's a lot of beauty on this planet, but we also have to realize that not every place treats, not everybody treats everybody the way that they treat them in the United States. So that's something that people need to think about. So yeah. I mean, that's obviously a book that I think people need to read, because this is something that has to be thought about. But it's also one of those things, like, you also have to think about it as, we don't want to live in fear. We want to get out there. We want to get out there and see what this world has to offer. But, there are things in this world that there's always going to be those factors out there that people have to watch out for. And that's certainly one of them, because that's not one to be taken lightly. Obviously, like I said, if they, and China's got an entirely different system. If they would have just decided, 14 days ain't enough, we're just going to keep him another year or two just for fun and games and keep him locked up. There ain't nothing you're going to do about it.
Right.
And having the right mindset at that point is the absolute necessity, which takes me to the whole idea of purpose, right? Like I said, Viktor Frankl talks about, if a man has purpose, if he's got enough of a why, he's going to make it through whatever it is.
Thanks.
And it sounds like that you knew what your why was. You have a purpose. So Chance, I want you to talk to me. What is your purpose?
To inspire, motivate, encourage, enlighten, guide, nurture, protect, and uplift and bring out the best in everybody that I reach. For real, I have an impact on. And definitely helping people put their stories out there. Everybody goes through different situations, different experiences, from traumatic to sad to happy to, all over, all different types of experiences. And you'd be surprised how many people, it's a lot of people in the world. So you'd be surprised the amount of people that can relate to your story, whether they experience it themselves, already went through it, or it's finna go through it, little do they know, So you'd be surprised who you can reach and who you can impact. So never be ashamed of anything you go through. Embrace everything, because that's what makes you you. And it's your authentic story, it's your authentic self, and authenticity sells. Originality is becoming rare because we live in a society full of followers. So put your story out there, man, for sure. You went through it, you took away what you needed to take away from the experience. So why not share, give back, and you can make $1 on top of it. You don't get no better than that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the great thing, right? Because it's so important that you say that, because there is so much out there. So many people they've got a story. They've got circumstances in their life that people need to learn. Well, this is one thing I talk about so much on the D-Rate the Hate podcast, Chance, is my own story, with the things that I've gone through. I've made a ton of mistakes. There ain't a person on this planet that has not made mistakes. There's only ever been one, as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? The thing is we all make mistakes. And the important thing about those mistakes is to learn from them. And then if you take that, transition that into your purpose to help others learn from your mistakes, maybe they won't make the same ones that you and I made, right? Having that, being that guiding figure. But in order to be that guiding figure, in order to share your story, you have to be sure of yourself. Kind of like I said, full circle, right back to what I was talking about before. Other people are not going to value me if I don't value myself.
Thanks.
If I do not see myself as worthy of telling the story, if I don't see myself as worthy of being a guiding light to somebody else and things like that, my story is just probably going to remain down here, right? It's not going to get out there. I can't teach people how great life can be if I think life sucks. I
can't. Straight up.
Right? So I guess it's a direct way of saying it, but I think that, when we talk about purpose, when we talk about being a mentor, when we talk about, being that kind of influencer that's going to change lives and make things better, we've got to look at our mistakes. We've got to have that kind of humility and vulnerability and just say, look, I messed up here. But by sharing how I messed up and sharing the lessons that I learned, maybe you won't make that same mistake. And being and just being positive, being a positive role model requires, I value me, so other people will value me. I do what I do so that others might learn from the mistakes that I made in the past. And it's the right path, man. It's the right path. It's the right purpose. It's awesome. And anytime that we can share our story with others in a way that makes the world a better place, we got to do it. I mean, it's almost an obligation, right?
Yeah, it was going to waste. For real, it's going to waste.
Well, I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your story, Chance, and obviously we'll encourage everybody to get out there and check out your website and hit you up on social media. I know, like I said, the fact is there's too many people out there not trying to inspire. They're trying to use the internet ecosystem to spread toxicity. So those that are out there actually trying to make the world a better place need to we need to keep doing what we do to try and do that. And I appreciate what you're doing. Talk to the DTH listeners what you would like to see, out of this episode, what you would like to see from the DTH listeners, and kind of take us home there.
I want to leave you out with this message from Nipsey Hussle. For those that don't know who Nipsey Hussle was a mogul, philanthropist, philosopher, serial entrepreneur, but well known for his music and his clothing line. He's from South Central Los Angeles. He a rolling 60s crib. And the message is long-winded, running through this life like it was mine. Never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what is a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. Well, who would you want to define you? Someone else? Or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, give your heart to it. Stay strong.
Chancellor Jackson, thank you, my friend. I greatly appreciate it. So cool.
Appreciate you.
Friends, if there's anything in this episode that provided exceptional value to you, please make sure to hit that share button. Share it with your friends, share it far and wide. And of course, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe right from our website so you can get the D-Rate the Hate podcast sent to your email inbox every week. So this is Wilk wrapping up for the week saying get out there, be kind to one another, be grateful for everything that you've got, and remember it's up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. If there is something that you would like to share with me, you can catch me on most social media platforms, or you can email me directly, wilk@wilksworld.com. With that, my friends, I am going to back on out of here, and we will catch you next week. Take care.